beat of my drum when the rhythm flows and my beat goes. Ooh, wow, we dow, wow, wow, we do be dow, ooh, wow, we da da dow, dow, we do ba do, wow, we dow, 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 we do be dow, ooh, wow, we da da dow, dow.
Welcome to the show. This is a 2008 Ford Escape. The problem is the stereo system in it is trash. It doesn't have a screen. There's not really much else you could do here but swap it out. I remove a large chunk of the dash because the stereo and heater controls are integrated. I intend to try to install this 10.1-inch monitor. It's a Lilliput touchscreen, so it should work pretty nice. The control panel and amplifier mechanism separate when you remove it from the vehicle, so I just have to remove all the screws that hold the buttons in place. It seemed like around a dozen of the P1 Phillips head screws. I'm not going to need to reuse them, but I have them all laid out here. Here on the back, I can see the hole pattern. This metal piece is going to be useful later on for helping me mount my bracket. And then that'll lead us to the next problem. With the buttons removed, there's just a bunch of holes. There's no real place to mount a stereo system or anything else. That's okay, this is a custom build anyway. See if I can do it. I'm gonna modify that piece. I'm gonna cut this piece and I'm gonna attach it to these holes. A little bit of work, but I think very doable. In the worst case scenario, I may have to plug in some of these gaps in the plastic, probably from the back, in case if you can see them. I positioned the monitor in place on its bracket. It's in the general vicinity of where I want it, but I'm going to go ahead and use the caliper to measure where the factory drilled plastic holes are and where the intended mounting bracket needs to be. Since I have some margin and room to make adjustments later if I want, I decided to go with a very even number, 33 millimeters. And that's as precise as the measurement needs to get. I'll go ahead and remove the monitor and the bracket, and this way I can get some center lines. I'll mark this one at the 33 millimeter mark, right where it needs to be drilled. Next, I used a ruler and a wet erase marker right here in order to be able to mark where I'm going to put my lines at. I'm going to go ahead and reuse the metal piece from the face. I can use this hole as a center line, and I know these are where I need to line up the drill. I like to just clamp everything in place with a vice grip, and then I'll drill it out. So with the vice grip in place, you can see how close I got it. You know, the better you do here, the better it's gonna turn out. This is kind of hard to tell on the camera, but they're centered really, really well. Next, I go ahead and punch them out. So I'm right in the center. That's what I'm gonna drill. And the result, there it is. Just like a champ. Go ahead and hook up the monitor and see how that fits. For good measure, I put these 3 more screws, you know. They're tap and die, you know, just to make the bracket really, really strong. You don't want that thing bouncing. I'll go ahead and replace the rest of the screws and get the monitor mounted. It looks pretty good on there. You know, it's solid. It doesn't look like it's going to have any issues. I mean, it's a little bit heavy, but it's definitely on there. All right, next let's talk about power. I'm going to be using this day green buck transformer because it's got a 5-volt output. Now, the computer monitor runs on 12 volts. So what I've done is I've just soldered it. I've got an optional USB charger here. And I'm gonna go ahead and connect the monitor power supply to the buck transformer on the 12-volt end. After I make the plug-in connections, camera, and put the heater back in. After getting the heater controls back in, you can see it looks pretty good, pretty solid. I'm gonna be trying to add this Nessa camera. Let's see if we can get a look at it. I got this one on a Black Friday deal. Now's the time to run the wire while I got everything taken apart. This is a tiny little camera. It's supposed to be pretty sweet though. I guess we're gonna find out. So to check the video source, I'm using a Nintendo GameCube. One thing that works pretty nice is if you disconnect the GameCube, the monitor does shut off. After a second, it goes to sleep like it would a normal computer monitor. So when the signal comes back, it instantly comes back on. This is a good one. I think this is gonna be very helpful. Try turning off the GameCube. Shuts right off. It's kind of funny how close these two are in color, you know. I guess they're around the same age. Comes right on. In an effort to make sure that I get the best picture possible. I mean, these things are only 480. Like, they can't show that clean of a picture, but I mean, with the bigger screen, I'm hoping that I can get something. So I went ahead and heat shrinked it in. All right, now that I got everything pulled, the screen, I'm probably gonna take and clean all this. I mean, it's bad. It is so bad. But I'm not gonna leave it like that. But I mean, there's a nice big opening here. I think this is plenty of space to be able to put the deck back in there. I want to try to put the computer in this compartment, so it might take a little bit of work trying to get that out, but I think it's very doable. All right, back in the car. I mean, the weather sucks today. It's been raining all day. Down here in the center console, that's where I put the computer at. Go ahead and power it on real quick so you can see it. It does take the computer a little bit to boot up. Not too long, but it does work. Looks like it is coming on. There we go, Windows 10. Trying to see if I can get Spotify on here. See what else I can get running on here. Here I am trying to get Spotify to launch. Not having much luck. But it looks like it's trying. I mean, it does have audio, but it's not great. That's okay. That's going to be what we do next. Definitely got it doing Spotify. There's 11. I did get Spotify working. Thanks for being a part of this journey. I've got several videos in this series planned. I've already done a bunch.